Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only, your girl, the cartoon hotspot, and in today's video, we are going to analyze the episodes Collusion and Revolution. If you're interested in my thoughts, then stick around, give this video a thumbs up, and for new viewers, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click that bell button to receive post notifications. Without further ado, let's begin. So we'll start with Collusion. The episode begins with Natalie watching the video messages that Emily left for her. In these messages, Emily tells her that once Gabriel has a vision of something, it's very hard for him to let go, and that Adrien shouldn't have to suffer from the mistakes that they made. She urges Natalie to protect him, but we obviously know it's a little bit too late for that. During breakfast, Gabriel tries to make a jibe at Adrien for not yet telling Marinette that he's moving to London, and then Adrien stands up to his father and insults his tasteless pancakes. You go, boy. Adrien and Marinette walk into class hand in hand, where Chloe decides to be snarky towards them. It's then that Marinette snaps and tells her that she dealt with Lila and will very well put Chloe in her place too. We then discover that Chloe has an earpiece in which Lila is communicating through to her. As Miss Bussier is teaching the class, Chloe suddenly starts dancing on the desk and blasting music. And instead of facing repercussions, it's Bussier that ends up being sent to the principal's office, in which Miss Mendeleev is the new principal. Marinette then gets accused of slapping Chloe, gets expelled, and Miss Bussier gets fired, which obviously would make her a target for an Akuma. However, she rejects the akumatization because she believes violence is never the answer. Meanwhile, Andre Bourgeois is in a meeting with Gabriel and Tomo, discussing a sort of business proposal they have for him. Basically, they want to replace the policemen of Paris with robots. Chloe then interrupts their meeting whilst Lila directs her on what to say to them. Gabriel takes advantage of this and plays along with whatever Chloe wants. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I have no clue what this was all about. All I know is that Gabriel was up to something shady, Lila is up to something shady without Gabriel knowing, Chloe is just a pawn in their schemes and she's just foolishly going along with it. Andre is still a spineless loser, never really cared about him. Tomo is, well, she's Tomo. But yeah, something is going down and I'm assuming Gabriel just wants to use Chloe as a distraction for whatever he's planning. Anyways, on the balcony, Andre talks to Gabriel about life before they became rich and acquired power. He basically laments about how he was once happy being an artist / filmmaker, but he ultimately abandoned that life to please Audrey by becoming the mayor. He admits to abusing his power and Gabriel records the entire conversation without Andre's consent. Then he edits the clips and sends it to Miss Bussier, causing her to get akumatized. I'm not really going to talk about the Akuma battle, but Miss Bussier is just hell-bent on starting a revolution, so the only way to get through to her was when Andre resigns from his role as the mayor and reinstates her position as teacher. The only catch is Chloe then becomes the mayor instead and declares Ladybug and Cat Noir as outlaws in Paris. So we got a bratty 14-year-old as the mayor. Yeah, that's obviously going to end well. Okay, that was Collusion. Let's analyze Revolution. Revolution picks up exactly where Collusion ends. Ladybug and Cat Noir escape City Hall and decide to just leave Chloe to the authority figures because if they attack her, they'd look like villains. After all, she isn't akumatized. Back at home, Plag advises Adrien to just tell Marinette the truth about him going to London because she could help him think of a solution. However, every time Adrien tries to tell her, something interrupts them. Meanwhile, Monarch strikes a deal with Chloe and akumatizes her, but makes sure she doesn't look akumatized. That way, he knows Ladybug and Cat Noir won't dare intervene. Throughout the entire day, members of the class begin to go missing. Milene and Ivan are the first to disappear, then Alia, and then Marinette. When Adrien has a bad feeling, he tries looking for her at the bakery, but to no luck. He then confronts Chloe, who threatens to tell Marinette his little secret. Adrien isn't fazed though, and states that he'll tell Marinette himself. It's then that Chloe summons a robot that paralyzes Adrien, and he's sucked into a portal, taking him to a place that everyone else who went missing is trapped in. Eventually, Adrien and Marinette create a diversion and escape. They decide to finally step in, as Ladybug and Cat Noir of course, and put an end to Chloe's reign of terror. However, they find themselves separated and trapped inside two green protective shields that suddenly appear and their powers are futile inside of them. They discover that Monarch had been behind this all along and Chloe had been akumatized. When all hope is lost and it seems they're about to transform back, Ladybug urges the citizens of Paris to keep on fighting. The members of the resistance do so, and Ladybug realizes that they have to take their own advice as well. And at that moment, they resist detransformation, and Cat Noir summons his cataclysm as many times as he wants.
On ne se détransformera plus jamais!
Chloe is defeated and leaves for New York with her mother. Towards the end of the episode, Adrien has run out of time to try to convince his father not to send him to London. He then calls Marinette and apologizes for hurting her, and she races to the airport to say goodbye to him. It's then that they share a passionate yet sad kiss before he finally departs. And that's about Revolution. Okay, so talking points for this video. The first thing I want to discuss is an ongoing theme within Miraculous Ladybug, which is the abuse of power. Throughout the series, we see a number of people abuse the power they have over people who seemingly have less power. Gabriel abuses his power over Adrien. Gabriel abuses the power of the Miraculous by quite literally committing mass terrorism in Paris. Chloe abuses her power in school, and Andre Bourgeois abuses his power as mayor. So, let me be straight with you. I don't like Andre. I don't know if the episode's intention is to convince us that we should sympathize with Andre and that he's a good guy that was just misled because people do crazy things all for the sake of love. Oh, how cute. No, it's just bizarre to me. Like, let's rewind and think about this. Andre abandoning his dream as a filmmaker is silly if he abandoned it for some like random job. But you mean to tell me he abandoned it to be the mayor? The mayor, one of the most influential and powerful political figures in Paris. The mayor. That is so insane to me, and I don't feel bad for him, not one bit. Being the mayor is obviously a big responsibility. You are running a city, so you need to be capable of doing so, and you need to be fair. Now, I'm not into politics or anything, but it doesn't take a genius to know that your objective as a mayor is to make sure the citizens of your city are treated fairly and are actually satisfied with life in general. But we see throughout the entirety of the series how a lot of people suffered in the hands of Andre. Marinette, for instance. Andre's inability to stand up to his daughter is exactly why the school system failed Marinette and she wasn't safe. Because every teacher was so afraid of punishing Chloe at the risk of being fired by Andre. And remember when I mentioned how sometimes Miraculous would try to convince you of one narrative, but then the writers forget that previous episodes don't actually align with this narrative? To me, it feels like Andre did a 360 that came out of absolutely nowhere. In the first 3 seasons, it actually seems like Andre enjoyed abusing his power. He got Alia suspended for nothing. Pretty sure he fired Sabrina's dad for nothing. And I could have sworn it's implied that Andre rigged the elections in the episode Darkblade, or at least played dirty to win. Like, Andre was very malicious and there was not a hint of regret in his face. But then suddenly in season 4, he's starting to reflect on his actions and realizes he doesn't actually want to be the mayor. And yes, you could argue his relationship with Zoe probably changed him, or that Audrey's presence finally opened his eyes into seeing how awful she is, but it just felt like a very sudden character change, and I'm just confused as to where we got this from. Regardless, your actions affect other people. What I will say, however, is that it is smart that the show tells you Andre doesn't have much power when it comes to Chloe and Audrey. Think of it from this perspective. The most politically influential and powerful man in the city is actually powerless at home. That's smart. But yeah, I don't care whatever sob story Andre has, he's still a spineless loser and Paris deserves better. Speaking of better, would now also be a good time to mention that I still don't like Miss Bustier. Never have, never will. I didn't even feel bad for her when she got fired. I'm so sorry to admit this. What she experienced in this episode is only a fraction of what Marinette had to endure. I absolutely despise her "everyone is capable of being good if we show them how to be good" rhetoric. Yeah, how did that work for you? How did that turn out for you? Because unfortunately, bad people will always take advantage of your kindness, and eventually you're going to have to draw a line. Do you remember in the episode Zombie Zoo when Chloe destroyed Marinette's gift, and instead of punishing Chloe, she told Marinette to be the bigger person? Like, what? And I'm convinced that she knew Chloe bullied Marinette for the past 3 years and just didn't say a word. So no, I don't like Miss Bustier, but she's still a better candidate for mayor than Andre will ever be, so I guess a win is a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
The next thing I want to talk about, and probably my favorite part of both episodes in general, is Ladybug and Cat Noir growing up. Miraculous has a set of rules when it comes to the law system and powers. One of the rules is that adults can use their power however long and however much they like, whereas when the kids summon their power, they have 5 minutes until they de-transform. And I will not lie to you, at first I thought it was kinda nah. But now I like the nuances behind it. You see, it was never about physical age, but rather mental age. Ladybug and Cat Noir are determined to see this fight to the end like they promised the people of Paris, and it's that determination that allows them to not transform back. In other words, they've matured. They've been superheroes for a year now and gone through so much, the good, the bad, and the ugly. They've endured a lot of pain that no 14-year-old should ever be subjected to, but it's that pain that makes them stronger. When you go through a lot of mental turmoil, you're forced to grow up quicker than usual. And if they were going to lose, they certainly were not going to lose to Chloe. Another thing I want to mention is that not a lot of people realize just how deep Adrien/Cat Noir's low self-esteem issue is. It's not too obvious in this episode, but it's still worth mentioning. As Ladybug and Cat Noir are about to detransform, Cat Noir says,
Ah zut, je suis en train de passer à côté de mes dernières répliques. Désolé. Au fond, je n'étais bon qu'à faire des blagues.
which shows just how little he views himself. He reduces himself to a sidekick whose only purpose is to crack jokes. But then Ladybug reassures him that he was perfect. He always has been and always will be. He's more than a sidekick. He's her friend, her confidant, her rock, and quite literally a shoulder that she has leaned on countless of times. And hopefully one day he'll see himself the way that she sees him. Now let's talk about the Adrienette airport kiss, because if I don't talk about it, you guys are going to devour me in the comment section. An ongoing theme within this relationship is the concept of time. It's never the right time for Adrienette. It's like time is constantly working against them. And it's actually really tragic if you think about it from that perspective. In the episode Collusion, the class are sick and tired of Adrienette not being able to kiss, and then Adrien states that they're waiting for the right time. When Adrien runs out of time and is about to be sent to London, that's when they kiss, because they're afraid that they won't ever have another moment to do so. It's heartbreaking that their first kiss is a sad one. A goodbye kiss. But let's take this one step further. Another theme within this season is freedom. Adrien has always followed his father's orders until he finally started to defy them, both with Marinette and Natalie's help. And in this episode, Natalie tells Adrien that although he can't disobey Gabriel, that shouldn't stop him from loving whoever he wants to love. So Marinette upholding her promise that she'll never abandon Adrien, a promise she made back in the episode Pretension, and Adrienette kissing despite knowing Gabriel doesn't want them together, is kind of their way of saying that they are free to love each other. In other words, they are challenging Gabriel's authority. And the final thing I want to talk about is Marinette absolutely destroying Chloe once and for all. Isn't it ironic that despite losing everything and being sent to New York, the person Chloe decided to call was Marinette? In a twisted and slightly malicious way, Chloe has always cared about Marinette and her opinions, even if those opinions were bad. She's always cared about getting a reaction out of Marinette because it gives her some sort of control and attention that she never got from her mother. So she sought to get attention from someone else, even if that meant bullying them. You see, Chloe feels powerless and insignificant in Audrey's eyes. So her way of thinking is that she needs to find a victim so she can feel powerful. And that victim happened to be Marinette. Chloe finds satisfaction in trying to belittle Marinette. It's kind of like her coping mechanism. Because like I said, if people fear you and hate you, it means you have some sort of power over them. Power that Chloe desperately desires. And instead of trying to be a good person, Chloe was so focused on making Marinette and everyone's life a living hell that she ended up missing out on true friendship, and now she's all alone. So when Marinette silenced Chloe once and for all and didn't even bother to give her the attention she wanted, that's when she finally broke and realized she truly has no power. There's a saying that indifference is worse than hatred. If you hate someone, it means you care about them, which also means that person has some sort of power over you to stir up such feelings. But when you're indifferent towards someone, it means you don't care about them at all to even give them the time of the day. And that's worse. That's why Chloe cried. She lost her only source of acquiring power. She lost Marinette. Tiny detail, but I also love how she stood up to Chloe whilst wearing the hairstyle she had back when Chloe used to relentlessly bully her, as we see in the flashback episode Derision. It's kind of like a full circle moment, and it truly reinforces the fact that Chloe does not have power over Marinette anymore, and I just find that so cool. And that brings us to the end of this video. Collusion and Revolution were okay episodes. I'm not really sure why I didn't enjoy these ones as much. They weren't bad, but they weren't all that interesting either. I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it. But as always, now I want to put it to you guys. What did you think of these episodes? Loved them? Hated them? Let me know down in the comment section. But as for today, that's it from me, and I'll see you again next time.